Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luka's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my. Listen, guys, special day today. Normally we do our StarStock episodes on Monday, and normally I don't get the privilege of kicking off. But Andrew's jet lagged. He's been flying across the world. This guy's a jet setter, man. I'm here in the Luka Nation studio breaking Marvel boxes for you guys. My back hurts, but we pulled some fire last night. That was some good stuff. Everybody who was involved in that, nice job. Bunch of hollows, bunch of Stanleys, everything centered. We got some real nice stuff. I'm gonna have to talk to StarStock and see whether or not they'll take some Marvel cards to really expand their inventory. But so we waited to bring you the StarStock episode. It's one of our most listened to episodes every week. We didn't do Monday this week, a little holiday, but we were able to bring Scott Greenberg, the CEO, back in. This is his company, guys. I mean, a lot of people there, but this is his baby. This is his thing. And we have some Instagram groups on this. We've had Scott on before to talk about our partnership with StarStock. And anybody who listens to us, anybody who's a part of Luka Nation knows. I pull no punches. I come on here and I give eBay a hard time. I give PSA a hard time. I give everybody a hard time. And we've gotten some questions for Scott and for StarStock from our audience, from Luka Nation. And Scott said, listen, this thing is moving full speed ahead. I would love to come on. I'd love to talk to you about, give you kind of like a state of the union of where we are and answer any questions you have. So without further ado, when you get a Cage intro, it's half the episode. So we're welcoming back Scott Greenberg of StarStock. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Cage. Great to be back on.
We love having you, man. We love having you. So listen, I'm gonna dive right in. I mean, do you get any sleep? Because I know, starting Christmas, basically, if you're sleeping, it's on a bed of Prism draft basketball. That would be how I picture it. If I could create a meme, a blanket of just Prism draft basketball cards.
That sounds like a dream. Yeah, no, we've been hard at work for sure. Not sleeping too much, but been a crazy couple months for us for sure.
So I'll just jump right into it, right? Because I love the marketplace on StarStock. I love being able to cruise for deals. I love seeing the ups and the downs. I love seeing the index. It's just another one of those avenues that if you're a flipper at heart and you spend a little bit of time on the marketplace, there is a way for you to definitely make some profit. We've had some, what I'm going to call, growing pains, as any company that's in this for the long term would have. The first thing I'd love to ask you about is staffing. We had an episode on this at the beginning of the month where you guys gave us some information, and you started the year with 8 people. I just wanted to I wanted the folks to hear from you about how you're ramping up, how you're catching up, how you're doing your backlog, you name it, how you're adding staff, and how you're adding you're putting resources where they need to be, so that people have the confidence that StarStock is here for a long time. So tell us what you got going on behind the scenes. Little Willy Wonka tour of the chocolate factory, Scott.
Yeah, for sure. We've been staffing up the operations team here. I think we're about double the size of where we were at the beginning of the year. In terms of card ops positions here, and we continue to hire. And so, that along with a bunch of improvements that we've made kind of on the back end inside of our database has really allowed us to speed up the ingestion process. And so, we're still backed up a little bit. I think we're about 4 to 6 weeks back for the most part. But we're really starting. We feel like we're starting to turn the corner and really see some improvement.
Nice. Well, listen, it happens. You're getting a certain number of cards in, and then all of a sudden, you get a whole bunch more. It takes a little while to ramp up and catch up to the stuff. So, plus, you happen to ramp up right when basketball season started. So you got basketball draft, you got Prism draft. It's all in there, and so that'll actually segue me right into a good question. And I'll channel Luka Nation, but I'll use my own example because the guys who are in our groups know I subbed a submission myself in, and I didn't get that many great grades. I got a lot of B's. I got a lot of StarStock B's, and people are asking about that. And I think you probably can provide some guidance to our listeners and calm me down, because I'm waiting for a bunch of cards to be scanned in. That's mostly optic and Prism basketball, 18, 19, some 17, some older stuff, you name it. But I'm waiting to see what the grades are on those. And I have a feeling they're going to be better because the one that I sent in had 100 cards and got mostly StarStock B, it was all Prism Draft Basketball. So what have you been seeing with Prism Draft Basketball, and why did I get such bad grades?
There are bad cards, Cage. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, it happens. I mean, sometimes
well, it's actually interesting. We track on the back end, like the stats, the ABC breakdown per set. This 2020 Prism Draft Basketballs had the worst numbers of any set on our site. What we've seen, talking to the people that are scoring the cards here and like reviewing and looking through a lot of them myself personally, there's tons of surface area marks on these cards. I think we saw something similar with Mosaic this past year when those came out. And so it's really tough. And you look at the cards, and as you know, really the goal with our scoring system is we want people to be able to browse our site, buy a StarStock A card, and know that it's a high quality card. It's a high quality raw card. Our last submission, 92% of those cards came back 9s and 10s. We were really happy about that because that's basically says, all right, you buy an A and it's either a perfectly mint condition card or it's really close. But when you look at these Prism Draft cards and you see that basically every single one has some sort of surface mark, whether it's a little dimple, could be that the printing's misaligned to the right or left or up or down, and so one of those cards that maybe has one small or two really small dimples or marks can potentially get passed through as an A. But for the most part, we're finding that most of these cards have multiple, blemishes on them. And so, by the definition of what we're scoring these cards on, they fall into the B category. So you're definitely not the only one that's sent in, around 100 Prism Draft cards and has gotten a pretty low A rate.
So I should throw that one out the window. It's kind of like when I go to college, or high school. I'm, depending upon what grade you got up to. Some of our Luka Nation, I think they got out of 6th grade, some of you guys. You know who I'm talking about, guys. But,
he got to 8th grade, Cage. Come on.
You get the midterm, you get some tests, and your teacher at the end of the marking period says, okay, we're going to throw out the lowest grade. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take that off the table, and you can still get your C+. You can still get your C+, Cage. So I'm going to throw that one out the window and just, I will be reporting to Luka Nation when I get my grades in, what they are, but I have a feeling they're going to be better because listen, it's funny because I didn't even think of it that way because I did send in a stack of cards before it. So that one that I got bad grades on, was my second submission. My first one that went in was significantly better, and there was a much lower concentration of Prism Draft in it. So it does bear out what you're saying, at least from my own, personal stuff. So guys, if you were in there and you were one of the many people that listened to our episodes, it was that Christmas week, the week between Christmas and New Year's, and you had just broken boxes of draft, and you were on there, you listened to my pick and said, buy Denny Avija, and throw those Prism or the Wiseman and throw them in and you name it. And you got a lesser percentage of StarStock A's. That doesn't mean stop using it. Obviously, it means that, Prism needs to do a better job with their product and not have so many surface issues on it. So,
Cage, I don't know if you know. So I grew up in the family business, and we had one rule: customer's always right.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing. I came into this hobby 1 year ago, and I'll tell you, if I was a business owner in this hobby, it's just some of the most finicky customers you can have. I'll give you an example. Hybrid grading.
I'm an example.
Hybrid grading came out, right?
Yep.
People are like, we need an alternative to BGS. We need an alternative to PSA. The customers were asking for it. Hybrid grading comes out. They're reliable every single time. They meet the expectations. People complain. They're like, the labels are stupid. Why do I say that? Here's this company, StarStock. From one hand, they want to do a good job. They want to make sure that they accurately score cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's good for the hobby. But then from the other side, the customer is like, why weren't my grades higher? But then when your grades are higher, the customer posts all over Instagram, hey, look at this little dimple. Look at this corner.
Yeah, you can't win.
And I think we could collectively agree that we need to understand that the hobby's really new, and we need to offer each other grace and a little empathy, that where someone and a company as a person is today isn't necessarily where they're going to be 3, 6, and 12 months down the road. And they're always stuck in kind of the middle ground. So I wanted to add my own 2 cents on that. Scott, do you agree with that? Is that what you're seeing? Anything you want to layer on?
No, I mean, the customers in this industry, in this hobby, are smart. They're smart customers. I think for the most part, a lot of them are pretty obsessive about cards, just like the 3 of us are. And so they certainly know what they're talking about. But like, as you said, it's really tough in any business, obviously, but it's really tough to please everybody. And so, no matter how we score our cards, we'll have those out there that think we're being too strict. And we'll also probably have those out there that are upset with our, grading, PSA grading results that we sent out. And so there's always going to be people on both sides that probably think we should be scoring harder, and some that think we should probably be scoring a little bit more lenient. As you said, we're really trying to put in place processes here, as well as just kind of guidelines that will allow us to scale this business and do this for many years. And so that's kind of the way we're looking at it. And the past 2 months or so has been extremely tough to on our customers, and for me personally, just to see that we're not able to get to a lot of these submissions in a timely fashion that we hope to. But we're putting a lot of new measures into place that will allow us to get caught up and hopefully not have to go through this again in the future.
Listen, this is part of what happens, right? I mean, people like eBay is terrible, and then StarStock comes along and is like, oh, come on, what's going on here? Why can't they get it right? Well, guys, things are not right from day one. That's first and foremost. But these guys, I love the marketplace, and what's funny about it is let's take it for a spin here. I just told you guys that my last grades came in. I got a bunch of Bs. If you go in my account, you see no cards left. So even the Bs all sold. I sold every single one of them. I got a couple of Marcus Mariota cards left, not as many as I had because I gave one away to somebody, people who listen to this. And I got 2 more in there. So who's listening? Who's listening now? I got 2 $20 offers on my Marcus Mariota PSA 10s. You got somebody, go ahead over there, Luka Nation, put your code in, get your $10 for free, and make an offer. The first person who offers me $25, I paid $50 for it. First person who offers me $25 on a Marcus Mariota gets it. That's a steal. There's 2 of them in there with $20 offers already. Steal for people listening to this episode. But guys, the point being, there's a market for everything. And yes, it's great if every card you sent in is a StarStock A, but there's no credibility there. You know what I mean? And if they're seeing surface issues on these cards, if they're really seeing problems with the cards, your next step with StarStock is going to be buying Prism cards or buying as baseball starts, a Fernando Tatis 2019 Topps Raw StarStock A, and telling Scott and his team, hey, I want to send this to PSA. And you want to be able to rely that these guys are doing more than a cursory review of that card. They're reviewing it, and that, look, there's no guarantee that it's going to be a 10. Nobody can guarantee that, because even the PSA grading, it's subjective. There's still a person making a decision there at the end of the day. But you want to be able to, to know that you're buying a good quality raw card that has a chance to 10. So they can't just give every card that comes in a StarStock A. It's just not feasible, and it's not what you would want if you really want what's best for yourself as an end user and for, the market as a whole. So I love it. Scott's not hiding. I listen, if nothing else, I love having you on because now I get to know that it wasn't just me with Prism Draft. It was it was just, those cards had a whole bunch of service issues. So I can't wait to get my next ones in, and we'll go from there. What's up, Andrew?
What's your favorite sport? Are you a basketball guy, baseball guy, football guy?
Me, I'm a basketball guy.
I ask because in a lot of ways, and
I'd like to say I'm a guy of all sports. I'd say baseball is probably my weak point of the ones you mentioned.
Scott knows basketball. He was the first one to come on and talk about Emmanuel Quickly. That was his guy, and he's been really good.
Quickly's good, man.
He's been good. He's been exciting. We're just fun to watch. I don't know if you guys caught the game last night. It was awesome. It was I can't believe how entertaining Knicks basketball can be. I've never been alive for anything like this. besides a year or two when Melo's on the team.
If you watched them last year, is it just like, is it the addition of Quickly off the bench, able to give them 15, 20 points and they can pull away, and Julius Randle's a little bit better? Like what's changed about that team?
I know it's so like cliche to say like culture and just personalities and stuff and the coaching staff, but I think that's what it is. Like you can just see they're playing so much harder for this coaching staff. Julius Randle, and I've been a doubter all along, and it's taken me even, 20 plus games this season to fully come around on him. Like he's really good. He's really, really good. He improved a lot on last year. RJ Barrett got off to a cold start. He improved a lot as well. Quickly's really great. We have some nice role players, and everyone's just playing really hard. And we play defense. And so even when we have really bad offensive nights, most of the time we bring the defensive intensity. And so I think that's kind of the difference. But it's just fun. It's great to have a team to watch that's actually entertaining and good basketball.
The reason I asked is, and I've said this to Cage quite a few times, I feel like StarStock's actually really built for baseball. That day-to-day movement, a guy matches 3 home runs, you buy his card, he goes on a hitting streak, he's 14 games in, you're able to sell that card for 50x. There's never been, we always forget the backbone of the hobby was baseball cards. That's how we still refer to them as baseball cards. So I'm super excited, and this is how I view StarStock is there were some slight growing pains, but any startup has those. And I feel like you guys are really going to kick into gear for baseball season. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. And like we have, I feel like towards the end of last year, towards the end of 2020, we were putting out a lot of new updates to the site. We had a lot of really exciting things going on. We still are working on a lot of really exciting stuff over here, but we basically put it aside, a lot of it, at least until we can get caught up on getting these cards in. Like that is the number one priority. And almost all of us, I'm spending both my weekend days and basically every, once 5 p.m. hits, I turn into a card inputter here. And so all hands on deck are kind of getting these cards into the system. But yeah, baseball's approaching. I agree with you, Andrew. Like, it's such an analytical sport, right? Like, it's kind of where sports statistics kind of really got started. And so it's perfect for this hobby. And we've seen it on the market as well. The baseball, the baseball market's really picking up steam. And so while the basketball market's kind of dropped a little bit, the baseball market's getting really hot.
I'm glad to hear that you're working after hours because I opened up a bunch of boxes of flagship tops that came out last week, and I got a stack of rookies to send in. So let's go. I mean, I never heard any of these guys, but so here's the best part. Let me tell you a story, Scott. And I don't know if you ever heard this from anybody before, but I came to this realization after opening these boxes last week. I was telling Andrew this, right? And guys, listen to this out there, right? So one of the best things about StarStock, and I didn't even think about this. Forget about the instant ownership, the no returns, the logistics, all that other stuff, all that great stuff. Something I never thought about. I'm a guy who opens Topps flagship with my son, right? I open it every year. It's just it's just one of those things. It's like, spring's on its way. The birds are going to come. The weather's going to thaw, and baseball will be here before pitchers and catchers are going to report. Let's open some Topps baseball. Usually open a bunch of jumbo boxes, a bunch of base boxes, you name it. I got a couple friends who live near me here. They have kids also. They might not have access to boxes, and what I'll do is I'll take out some of the nice stuff. Maybe I'll sell some, maybe I'll keep some. Ian, takes out the ones that he likes. But then I have boxes of cards. I put a whole box of rookies together. I put a box of base cards together. I'll give a bunch of them away. I'll give them back to the stores in my neighborhood. They can give them to kids. Kids come in, they don't have enough money to buy packs. They can get, here's a Mets bundle, whatever it is. But the rookie boxes, after a while, I got rookies. There's so many rookies in the top flagship. I would give them away. I'd hand them, I'd put them in boxes and give them to my friends. Or I would just throw them out because I got a basement. I got no room. You know what I mean? I can't get to the laundry rooms, right? So it's just all right. I don't know who these guys are. So last year I did this, and Series 1 came out, and I pulled out all the Yordan Alvarez. I pulled out all the Bo Bichette. I pulled out a couple other guys, and, the rest of them stayed in my basement for a couple months until, my wife was like, look, I just stepped on this box of crap. Get rid of it. Throw it out. And I did. All right, whatever. It is what it is. And that's happened probably the last 3 years of Topps flagship baseball. Now, I'll never forget leading into the season last year when I said Kyle Lewis was going to be the rookie of the year before he even picked up a bat, right? And I said, this is a guy I like. But that was after Topps flagship and Topps releases had come out. So I remember calling one of my friends and saying, hey, remember those boxes of baseball cards I gave you? Can you do me a favor and can you look for Kyle Lewis cards? And he's like, Kyle Tucker? I'm like, no, not Kyle Tucker. Kyle Lewis. Look for this guy. And it happened at least 3 or 4 different times during the season, during, the last baseball season, where I would go to the basement and look, do I have any of this guy? Do I have any Randy Arozarena, who literally came out of nowhere? Do I have any Kyle Lewis? So you know what I'm doing this year? I'm sending all my rookies to StarStock because I don't know which one of them is going to go on a hot streak. I don't know which one of them is going to go on a tear. And if I leave them in my basement, I'm going to step on them or throw them out. But if I have them all in there, it doesn't matter which one goes on a tear. I've now invested in all of them. I have them all in StarStock, and they'll be in my account for that week in April, May, or June, where some unknown rookie from the Padres or the Cardinals that I had no clue that I should be taking out right now goes off. I already got them in my account, and I can make money off of it. So if you're anything like me, open these boxes, pull all the rookies aside, send them in. Let's go. Flagship Topps rookies. You get more rookies in, Scott? You seeing an influx of baseball cards come in?
Yeah, we're starting to see those come in. No, absolutely. It's exciting to see. I'm really excited for the season to get started. What we got? About 6 weeks or so?
Yeah, something like that, right? I mean, we're here in the middle of February already, right? We're in the second half of February. So this is, before you know, it'll be March. There'll be baseball games. It's going to be the spring training definitely within a month. I mean, it's, it's right around the corner, which is great because, football's done. So, everybody's got to take their losses on Patty Mahomes. Everybody's got to take their lumps. Sell their Patty Mahomes cards.
Well, we're just actually starting to put together an MLB index, just like we have for the NBA one on our site. And so we'll be putting that out in the next few weeks or so. So that'll be exciting. That'll be a good way to track some of these rookies and potentially we might even include some of the prospects, minor league prospects as well.
Nice. Yeah. Juan DeFranco is not up yet, but he's got some cards and stuff like that. That's cool. I
mean, some of these guys are so high profile, Jason Dominguez, he's going to play in 3 years maybe. And he's, maybe one of the 10, 15 hottest cards in the whole entire sport.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his cards are a lot of money, just like Juan DeFranco was, and hopefully he comes up this year. But you're right, Dominguez has very little shot of playing this year with the Yankees on the big league team. He's 12 years old, so it's probably not gonna happen. But you're right. I mean, that is a card everybody wants because everybody, kids are Martian. He doesn't look like he's from this planet, and it looks like he's going to be the real deal. So you're right. I mean, sometimes you guys have to expand your index a little bit to capture what's hot and capture what's what's on there. That's one of the things I like about it. You guys change that index. The emerging 30 was like, okay, this guy's in, this guy's out. It allows for for swings in the market and who's hot. It allows for somebody like Keldon Johnson who comes out of nowhere and becomes a star player and potential all-star to actually have some credibility. I know a lot of people wish they bought a lot of him last year. So,
oh yeah.
Well, listen, we're gonna get the backlog up. You're gonna have, some sort of like another fantasy, like a challenge with people for baseball as well. You got something like that in the works. I know everything's kind of been back burner, but I'm sure you guys got a bunch of other stuff in the hopper.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the plan. So we'll do a baseball challenge. We'll get baseball index up. Working on some other, exciting features to put out and some other things that we'll be doing this spring. As I said, all hands on deck, getting the cards up right now. What's interesting about the industry is there's so much seasonality, obviously. And so that first year around, we're, still less than a year old, we're about 8 or 9 months. And so until you've lived through every single month, you kind of don't know exactly what it's going to be like. We weren't live last time baseball season kicked off. So we don't know what the beginning of baseball season looks like, what the beginning of basketball season looks like, et cetera. And especially with COVID, the seasons have been tweaked. We had a bubble last year, but we didn't have, a full ramp up to a regular season. So a lot of that we're learning and and taking down notes and just making sure that, this is the only time that this will happen at the beginning of basketball season. Next basketball season, we are going to be locked and loaded and ready to go. And so, that's the biggest thing for us, is being able to learn from these mistakes and figure out how to improve, so we can, keep our submission times 1 to 2 weeks, which is where we want it to be at all times.
God, so something we do every week, so we have a StarStock episode and you guys send us data, and what we try to do is kind of create a watch list for our community and say, here's some players or opportunities that you guys should be taking a look at, right? And then at the end of the day, they're all individual traders, so they should find their opportunity and make the plays themselves. What are something, from the inside that you see that you were like, I can't believe people aren't doing this on StarStock? What would it be? Is there 1 or 2 things that you could point, our listeners to?
Yeah. A few things. So one thing actually that first popped into my head when you said that last part, like the can't believe, there are some incredible autographed and numbered cards that are priced really, really well on the site. I've been looking through them personally over the past, week or so. Obviously, given our model, the cards that get the most attention often are the base cards. But there are some really incredible deals for some cool parallels. And if you filter down by like numbered cards, you'll find some really, really well priced numbered cards, or even ones that are priced, solidly, that you could probably make an offer on, that I think goes unnoticed at times. So that's one thing that I think is interesting. Second, I'm keeping a close eye on the basketball market. It's continuing to dip, and that, my guess is just as good as yours in terms of, will the market continue to go down? Will it go back up? But I'm looking at the basketball prices, and I'm thinking at some point, some of these players are going to become a good buy. Not all of them, but God, I was watching Zion the other day.
Looks good
when he was playing the Mavericks. I mean, that was so much fun. I think Luka had 46, Zion had 36. He missed one shot the whole entire game. He had 36 points. His numbers are incredible this year. His shooting percentage is above 60%, which is just bonkers. Meanwhile, his card, I think, is half the price about of what it was at the beginning of the season. And so, I think at some point, some of these guys are going to become good opportunities to get in. So that's probably, those are the 2 things I'd
is
say.
what Andrew likes to say. They're oversold.
It'd be cool, like a collab between Marvel. This is never going to happen, but I'm just having fun. Marvel. And an NBA. Like an artist, how there's, Blake Jameson, Project 2020.
Well, look how Dunris has net Marvels.
Okay.
They have that
they have the inserts. They're actually
how cool would a Zion Hulk one look? Or a Luka Harley Quinn one,
Luka Harley Quinn? Is that what did you just make Luka Harley Quinn? Is that what you said?
I'm having fun, man.
So why that's bad is a couple reasons. Number one, they would never be a Marvel collaboration with Harley Quinn because she's a DC character. 2, why are you making Luka a girl? What's the matter with you, man? By the way, here's the worst part of this whole thing. Scott comes on to talk about his company, right? His company and all the things that are going on. They're the craziest month and a half in. And we're talking about Harley Quinn being a DC character and whether or not Luka is Harley Quinn. Only here.
That's
Luka
why I
Nation.
like coming on here. Yeah. The
You woke
most
up this
unique
morning.
podcast out there.
Oh, my God. You got to love it. Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I think the reason why people
Andrew, we have 2 Marvel cards on the site if you want them. Those should probably be in your account. They were processed, I think, the first couple months while we were live, and then I think when we decided to not take inserts anymore, we obviously haven't processed any since. But there's an RJ and a Jaw there for you.
So if you're listening,
they're expensive.
to this,
they're
guys,
pretty expensive though.
Chances are they're not going to be there anymore because Andrew has moved them to his accounts already by the time you guys are hearing this.
No, but the reason I think people love sports cards and why they don't gravitate towards stocks is, sure, we all want to make money, but we also want to have fun. We want to have laughs. We want to enjoy things. I think that's equally as important. Not every trade, not every buy has to appreciate millions of dollars for you to be happy. You could just have cards in your vault that you kind of like. So that's why I wanted to have a laugh there.
Love it. Still not saying Luka is Harley Quinn. I'm sure if we gave it a chance, we could probably come up with. Listen, Luka Nation, you're listening to this now, and you've been stuck with this. You got to comment.
I think he'd be Thor, right?
Thor.
He's blonde, kind of got
hair,
that thing.
Thor with the Ragnarok haircut, where he's got where they cut the long, luscious locks of hair. Luka. All right, Luka. I could see Luka as Thor. Andrew, what do you think? What do you think about Luka's hammer? Tell the audience.
You're such an idiot.
Oh, you gotta love it. All right, so listen. So back on StarStock, right? So Andrew, you want to go through some of the data with Scott, some of the stuff that they gave us, some of the stuff that the thing that snuck out the most to me is obviously it's a changing of the tide, changing of the guard. Fernando Tatis popping up on the data that they gave us. People are obviously starting to look at baseball. Basketball's still the king. It's more than half the cards that are coming in, but baseball's obviously rearing its head, which I like to see because me, I'm a baseball guy. Also, before we get into the data, Scott kind of touched on it, the basketball market. I'm looking at StarStock, and I'm with you 100%. I think there are going to be bargains abound. I think you got StarStock Bs. You start to make some offers on some of these guys that have cooled a little bit. You're getting them from nickels and dimes of Prism rookies, guys who are who have just been beaten down by an overall money flow out of the modern basketball market. There are definitely bargains to be had, and I have a feeling what you're going to see in this year, people who legit day trade StarStock, the way that we would day trade stocks. And you're going to go in there and you're going to be making offers, people making 10 cent, 15, 20 cent offers on StarStock Bs of guys buying them all up and then repricing them at 50 cents or $1 and waiting for that guy to have a good game. No reason not to do it, especially with the market the way that it is now. I don't think you could get any lower really than it is.
I want to ask. I have a play or an opportunity. I want to see if Scott's noticing this as well. If it is, StarStock, you want to make money. Something I've noticed is dip buying, as they call it, right? So a player that's on the worst performer, he loses 40, 30, 50% of his value one week. Almost across the board, this has happened. The next week, he's back up 10, 15, 25%. Have you noticed that as well? Is there an opportunity to dip buy some of the worst performers from the previous week?
Yeah, I think in any market, there's huge when someone's price, or whether it's a card or a company or, whatever it is, when the prices are going down, it could present a good opportunity. I think it obviously depends who you're referring to or who you're investing in, I guess. If you're pretty bullish on the person long term, then I think it's a great opportunity. And so I personally did that with DeAndre Hunter because he was dipping down, and I just am really bullish on his future. I think he's a really good player. And so, at the end of the day, I don't care if I maybe spent an extra few dollars picking up one of his Prism StarStock A's. And so I bought a few of his when I saw them dip down. I think it was last week. And so I think if you're bullish on this guy's future and you're not just looking at it for a 1 or 2 or 3 week window play, then yeah, it's a great strategy.
I think I have a half dozen.
You got a suggestion for us?
I think I have a half dozen DeAndre Hunter Prisms in my submission waiting to be scanned in. So go ahead and take one off, Scott, if you like.
Well, the index was down.
Yeah,
They're all B's. They're all B's. The whole thing's B's. These are all B's. I want them. Oh, it's funny. It's good stuff.
Hey, let's wrap because we have a hard stop here. So
yep.
The top performers from the previous week were Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo. On the previous weeks, they were actually some of the worst.
That's right.
There's that bounce. Here's someone that I think we just mentioned, and most people are bullish on him. Zion is on the worst performer list, and he's down 45%. I imagine, if I were to guess, next week he's going to be back up 15, 20%.
Yep.
Yeah, that is low. That's a low price there for him. He's playing so well. Like, he's so good. his stats don't even seem real. And it seems like he's just kind of scratching the surface on what he can do. Yeah, I think you're right, Andrew. That might be a good call.
Let's wrap with this. So, I my previous life, I was working at a startup, and it was called Jumio. And when I first got there and when I left, it was almost two different companies, because we focus on just getting better day after day after day. And that's what I'm seeing from StarStock. So, Scott, you want to give 60 seconds kind of state of the union, what should people expect from StarStock next 30, 60, 90 days?
Yeah, we just want to be consistent. We're going to work our asses off every day here. Obviously we got some stuff to figure out or had, with the submission times, and we weren't able to kind of deliver on our promised 1 to 2 weeks, in which we really took pride in delivering on in the past. But we're making a lot of progress here. We're working on new tools. We're staffing up our team. We're working on different ways to process these cards more efficiently and more effectively. And so we're really, really confident that we'll get caught up there in the near future. Hopefully, next time I'm on this podcast, we won't even be, discussing any of those items. And we'll just be talking about all of the other exciting things that we're working on that we're hoping to bring to everybody this spring. So, we're really appreciative of all of the support that we get from, all of our customers and users. And we appreciate the constructive criticism as well. We listen to it. We see it. We check our Twitter DMs and our Instagram DMs. And I'm personally in probably 5 to 10 Discord groups with a bunch of our customers as well, and talking with them. So just really appreciative. For those that are frustrated, bear with us for, a little bit longer. And, I'm confident that we'll all be happy with how things are moving pretty soon.
So guys out there, if you can't see it, but Luka might be Thor and Zion might be Hulk. Scott is Tony Stark, right? He's got it, man. He's got the robots working behind the scenes. He's in charge of everything. We'll get it all going. And yes, listen, the next time you come on, we definitely have to talk about some fun stuff. I have every confidence that you guys have got the resources in play, getting the backlog under control. And, I'm planning on sending a bunch of cards in myself. I'm probably part of the problem. I sent in like 4,000 cards.
It's not a problem. We love it.
So, look, it is what it is. And I'm going to send in some more. So yeah, I mean, listen, we appreciate you coming on, because our guys, they do have questions. And, I, for one, and I know Luka Nation for two, we want to see StarStock succeed, because we need other marketplaces like yours. We need another place, for that instant transfer of ownership, and a way to move your cards in and out of the market, easily. Play basically daily fantasy for baseball coming up with the sports cards. I just, I'm glad to hear that you guys are taking it seriously. You're growing. You're adding resources to the mix, and that that you're working through everything. So we're happy to have you on. We thank you for your time. And we'll let you get out of here.
Appreciate it, guys. Well, I look forward to coming on again soon.
Excellent.
If you guys will have me again, obviously.
Anytime. Come on, anytime. Andrew, you want to say goodbye to Luka Nation?
Bye, Luka Nation. Thanks a lot, Scott. It's always good to connect with you, brother. And good luck to the Knicks. I am excited to watch the team in the playoffs. I'm excited to watch Quickly in the playoffs. I don't know why they picked up Derrick Rose, but he's a legend, so I'm happy for you guys.
He's a legend. I'm loving it. I don't know why either, but I'm loving it.
I just hope it doesn't stunt the growth of like Barrett. It's tough to find minutes for all those guys, but I'm old enough to have seen some, not championship, but successful Knicks teams. I mean, the Knicks teams of the 90s that I got to watch were some of the best wrestlers in the NBA. So it was a lot of fun watching those guys beat the hell out of the other teams in the league. It's a different sport than what's being played now, so it's different kind of exciting.
Latrell Sprewell choking people out.
Sprewell choked PJ Carlissimo, but I'm talking about like Oakley and Anthony Mason or those guys. You didn't want to go down the lane against those guys. Thanks, Scott. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lukas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.